Hello and welcome to an all-new episode of Anime Brain Freeze. We are your hosts.
I am John.
And I'm CC. And this is the show where we take a look at all the anime series from the previous season we did and didn't watch start to finish. Let's start today, again, with two shows that didn't quite make the cut and were more or less gently shoved into our trash stash.
Well, you might have shoved your trash stash edition for this week gently aside. I just kind of balled mine up and threw it in there and said, screw it, not even bothering to look back. What show could I be talking about other than Myriad Colors Phantom World?
A show I know nothing about.
It was one of KyoAni's last shows, and, you know, looking in on it from the outside, it looked like, hey, this could be Kyokai no Kanata 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, was that the KyoAni show with the limbo boob girl?
We'll get to that.
Oh, sorry.
But yes. Phantom World, because I don't feel like saying the whole title, was the brainchild of one Soichiro Hatano. And, oh boy, I don't even know where to start. You know, like I said, I thought on the surface it looked like it would be, you know, like Kyokai no Kanata, this like mixture of, you know, the everyday with the supernatural, which it tries to do, and it fails at spectacularly because it's fan service, like top to bottom. It's just, hey, this one girl here, you see her, she's got boobs. It's right in your face. It's like, if you don't take anything else away from the show, you just know that this girl well, check her out. Are you checking her out? Are you? We don't think you are. Do not avert your eyes. Going back to mentions of Limbo,
it was a very gifable scene. I give it that.
So, one of the things in this show is that, you know, our world is inhabited by these creatures called phantoms. Original, yes.
Are they ghosts? Are they like aliens or something?
I didn't watch far enough to really figure out, you know, what they were trying to establish them as, but some phantoms can, you know, like inhabit certain objects or whatever. And some phantoms are just, you know, big, you know, monster-y things. Okay, sure, fine, whatever. And in the first episode, there happens to be a case where, to pacify this pair of phantoms, they want the main characters to do the limbo man.
Oh boy.
And, you know, one of the main girls, Mai, and in order to get under the limbo bar, she basically has to force gravity to work in her favor, and it's a dumb, stupid scene. And I was just like,
is it at least funny in a way? I mean, how is it framed? Is it framed like this is a dramatic event, and don't mind the fan service?
Yeah, they're really trying to frame it as this like serious, dramatic moment, and it's. And I mean, I watched maybe 2 episodes of the show, and it got to a point where it was like, okay, so so instead of Myriad Colors Phantom World, you should have just called it Mai's Chest Beefers Phantom whatever. Who cares about that? I don't know, man. I don't know. I couldn't. Maybe it gets better as it goes on. I highly doubt that. I don't know if I'd say KyoAni lost their way with this show, but it wasn't great.
Sounds like the show was way too flat to you. Well, wait, let me rephrase
that. and I mean, it had the like script writer and director. I'm pretty sure both of them are in-house KyoAni guys, because they've done, you know, a lot of same stuff as the studio, like Chunibyo, Nichijou, Sound Euphonium. Not so hot on Chunibyo, but the other shows, you know, decent, good. You know, KyoAni, if nothing else, their animation quality is pretty good, and you could tell where they spent their budget on this show. Obviously. On physics. Fucking, oh my god. Oh, it's if that's what you want out of your anime, Sure, go ahead and watch it.
I
I can't stop you. I'm just a talking head on the internet. You can't see my face.
I mean, if they looked at your profile page on Facebook, they would know. But anyway, no, I mean, if that is not all that's to that series, that's fine. And I mean, if someone, if for people that is enough who are watching is like, yeah, all right, nice bouncy girl. I look to that in a series. So yeah, sure. I mean, more power to you. But yeah, I can understand why, if that's the only thing that's put any effort into a show, how that would be less interesting to you.
Yeah, and I mean, we've said it before tons of times.
Mm.
There's nothing inherently wrong with fan service.
Not at all.
But when you're so laser focused on one thing like that, you kind of... Are you sure you're not writing your show for 14-year-old boys?
Yeah,
And that's it?
I guess. I mean,
So
a
yeah,
lot of anime are. I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of the anime I love are probably for that age group. I mean, like My Hero Academia is probably not for 20-year-olds. I'm pretty sure that's like 8 to maybe 12-year-old boys are the focus group for that, and I still love that shit. But still, yeah.
Oh, no. You're not wrong. But I mean, there's a difference between being that and being intelligently written.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, don't watch Phantom World. That's what I say.
All right. Okay. Yeah, well, from what you told me, it sounds not very enticing.
It's forgettable at best.
So yeah, the show I put in the trash stash today is it's a bit difficult because it's not. I wouldn't classify it as trash per se. That's why I said in the intro narration that I put it kind of gently. I kind of gently shoved it into the trash stash. You go over there. I'm sorry, but that's your place. But it's not really. It sounds a bit unfair because Grimgar of Fantasy and Edge, or Haito Genso no Grimgar, or just Grimgar, for the people who don't have that much time in the day to pronounce anime names. It's not what you would call a bad show, but I will tell you why I dropped it. So first of all, it's a one pictures light novel adaptation. We had some of those that might give you a few flashbacks. It's about a group of young people who awaken in an MMORPG-esque world, and they don't have any memories of their lives up to that point, and have to learn how to live in this world. And it's never, at least not to my recollection, brought up that this could be inside an actual game, but the world follows the basic MMO rules. You have your jobs, your guilds, magic, special moves, etc. Contrary to series like Sword Art Online, the characters don't start in God mode. So, an example for that is they almost die trying to kill a measly little goblin for loot, and struggle to earn money for food, housing, equipment, and other things every day. So that's
To be fair, the only character that has egregiously bad plot armor in Sword Art is everyone's favorite Kirito.
Yeah, but still, you meet most of the characters in Sword Art Online, and they got lead battle skills, except maybe for what was the guy who trains with Kirito in the beginning. Klein, yes. He maybe not so much in the beginning, and you see a lot of characters in the beginning who either are not, but the main characters, when you meet them, they're relevant. Asuna is a super fighter, Kirito is a super fighter. When we meet Klein again, he's a super fighter. Of course, they have spent some time in the game at that point, but still, you follow the people, and the first time you see them, see most of them, they already know how to fight, most of them anyway. And it's that's the introduction to these characters, especially Kirito, he's a focus point. He's the main character, and you see him only kicking ass. So Grimgar is not like that at all. It's you see all these new first characters, and they stumble over each other. They mess up. They really struggle to kill even one little monster for loot in the beginning, and it's also when they make it, it's not glorified in the way that, wow, yeah, we kicked ass, we're awesome. It's like this really violent and harrowing scene, and that goblin is fighting for his life, so it's kind of upsetting. Yeah, so this in tone, this is really kind of different, and that was interesting to me in the beginning. Each of them takes up a different profession, gets training in respective guild, and this could go something interesting. This is so far so good, right? The problem for me was that's all that happens in the first 3 to 4 episodes. The characters wake up, and then you accompany them on their daily tasks, and nothing really interesting happens at all during that time, except for that one goblin fight, maybe. And even that takes up very little time in one of those episodes. So it's basically like, hey, this is what your everyday life would be in an MMO. Having fun yet? And everyone who's done daily grinds in MMO knows
raising my hand.
Yeah, knows that they don't particularly need to be fun. So what I'm saying is I didn't. That's the same for me with Grimgar. I didn't have enough fun in the first episode. There was nothing that kept me really engaged. And it's really funny talking about the show right now because I'm watching Flying Witch at the moment, where nothing particularly interesting or thrilling happens either in most of the episodes. But unlike Grimgar, I haven't dropped that one after its first couple of episodes, and I'd say that can be mostly attributed to the characters. The characters in Grimgar are, not assholes or annoying or anything. Well, except for Ranta, maybe. He's kind of a jerk. But he's like the demon knight of the group or something, and he's a loudmouth, and I don't know. I guess in each collection of characters with your RPG archetypes, you need that guy, but still, I wanted to smack him several times. Also, was a bit creepy toward the girls.
Oh, good.
Again, some weird fan service shots in this show, like that didn't really match the tone or anything. It's like, oh, okay, now let's surprise that girl character with the giant boobs in the bathroom for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, that was
I think I remember hearing things about that, and a lot of people were kind of put off by how sudden and unexpected it was.
Yeah, really sudden, unexpected, didn't match the tone, didn't make any sense, and and lingering, really lingering. Anyway, I didn't find the characters particularly engaging, relatable, or sympathetic either, so while they're not strictly unsympathetic, there was nothing for me to latch onto. And also, I guess for a show that starts with a mystery, how did these characters get here? Is this a game? Is this real life? Is this just a fantasy?
Well, I mean, fantasy is in the title, so...
Yeah, I guess. But that could also be, red herring or something, so... I don't know. They didn't give me enough plot in the first couple of episodes that promises an eventual resolution to that mystery, and the daily struggle of the characters, and they themselves were not interesting enough for me to stay interested, so go.
The problem that I've found for me with a lot of the shows that are trying to do this lost in a game world type thing is that none of them are dot hack.
Yeah, I guess.
Because I feel like dot hack really set the precedent for, being trapped in a game world, because dot hack did something that none of these other stories have done, and that's intrigue. Because it's more than, obviously, it's more than just what's on the surface. There's, something else, way buried deep in there that we don't know about, just driving you to keep watching. And I don't know.
Also, it was a different time back then. That wasn't like a genre that was so, I don't know,
maybe because
worn
it was
out at this point.
Yeah, maybe because it was fresh and new and
Hack
whatnot,
was,
but
at least if I remember correctly, in its time, Hack was a rather fresh concept in anime.
But I still kind of pine for the days of dot hack. Going back to Sword Art again, I hate constantly going back to it, but I remember seeing it and I was like, oh, hey, this could be neat. Maybe it'll be the new generation dot hack. No.
Most of them are light novel adaptations, actually. I mean, there are novels of dot hack too, if I remember correctly. But you got Sword Art Online, you got Excel Word, you got Log Horizon, you got Grimgar. I don't know how many more. there are a lot of shows that are just set in that particular genre these days, and I don't know how different they are from each other, because I've only watched Sword Art and this small part of Grimgar. I heard Log Horizon is pretty good.
Lock Horizon is good, but it kind of tapers off after a certain point.
Okay, well, I didn't intend to watch it, but
Fair
I,
enough.
I really I really wonder how, aside from the basic setup, these shows really differ from each other in displaying the world itself and how the characters go about living in that world. And what is the main focus? Is it the plot? Is it the daily life, the I don't know, the struggle to survive? Where is it going? And is that interesting enough to keep you around? One really positive thing I want to highlight about the show is how it looks. The art and direction is fantastic. It's a really, really good looking show. Great color palette, character designs, and animation work. Like, A1 let their top people handle this, and it shows. That's one of the things that initially drew me to it. It's really, really pretty to look at. It's a really pretty show. Like I said, to be fair, Grimgar is not really trash, and from what I've heard, it might even get much more engaging in the latter half of the season. For me, just after the first few episodes, the show just lost me because nothing was happening that kept me engaged. For some people who are, more interested in the subject itself and the setup and everything, maybe the art and is enough, and maybe they find the characters more appealing or something. So I wouldn't say avoid this show at all costs, but yeah, this is the reason why it didn't stick with me. Maybe you would see it differently. Maybe you want to give it a chance if that particular genre tickles your fancy. If you watched Sword Art and liked it for some reason, if you watched Log Horizon and liked it, maybe you want to check out Grimgar too, but I don't know. It just didn't do it for me.
So, the show, we're here to actually, say some, more good things than not about.
Let's see about that, Star Wolf.
Well, it is the recent Lupin the Third series.
Hey!
This particular series is actually the fourth main Lupin series. Sometimes this has been referred to as Part 4. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a bit easier to just say, Lupin 2015.
Or the Italian Adventure.
Or that, yes.
Or Blue Jacket, I believe, because Lupin is often categorized by the color of his jacket.
Yeah, because what other colors has he worn? Green, I think pink, and red.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yes, this particular series focuses on Italy.
Yeah.
It's interesting because the show actually started airing in Italy late last summer before it did in Japan in the fall, which is cool, I guess.
I think the reason is that Lupin has a ginormous fan base in Italy and was kind of a, I don't know, present for them or something, or like a gift in a way.
I'm not certain about that, but
I think so.
I will believe what you say.
Not a wise choice, but maybe in this case I'm right for a change. I believe I heard something to that extent. So.
All right. Okay. So yeah, what is Lupin the Third?
Good question.
Well, it's a manga series. It was a manga series that started back in 1971 or 72, or is it 16? The manga started in 1967. That's it. And the first animated adaptation was 1971. So we got history. Mm-hmm. We got like 39 years of history with this.
What is that? Is that as old as Blackjack or even older?
Actually, the Blackjack manga started in 73.
Ah, there you go. Almost the same.
So it's in the same time frame.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Lupin the Third focuses on a motley crew of thieves and criminals. We've got smooth talker Lupin, who's, as we said, every series. His jacket color changes to be a little bit different. Again, probably just to differentiate the different series.
He's supposed to be a descendant of the famous French thief Arsène Lupin, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the lore behind it. I don't know if that actually is ever, confirmed to be real in the universe of the show, or if he's just making it up. I'm not sure.
I don't know that for certain, but given the character, I wouldn't doubt if, he just kind of BS'd it as he went along.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know about that, but yeah, it would be fun to look that up.
I've watched a few of the series in the past, but I don't know about 100% about the series origins.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quote me on this.
All right.
But some of his cohorts are a rogue samurai, Goemon Ishikawa. He's just a very stalwart, serious kind of guy. His sword will cut anything in half.
Oh, yeah.
See several times.
From stealth airplane fighters to, I don't know, robots, cars, everything.
It's one of those things where it's how many times has the steel on that sword been folded? You can make that joke and get away with it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a friend, the gunman Daisuke Jigen. He's a very gruff kind of guy. Wears a big old hat, and you hardly ever see his full face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it rarely happens. You rarely see his eyes. It's fun.
And when you see his eyes, it's usually to comedic effect.
Yeah.
His on-again, off-again girlfriend, Mine Fujiko Mine, whichever name order you feel like going with on that particular day. And she's a trickster. She's always playing Lupin for money and jewels and trinkets.
And she got her own series not so long ago, right? Pretty much before this show, and I think part of the staff carried over from the woman named Fujiko Mine to this Lupin show, but I'm not sure about that.
And they're always being chased around by good old Inspector Zenigata. He's part of Interpol. He won't stop until he gets his man.
And his man is Lupin, and it's not in a romantic way, although some episodes kind of frame it that way, sometimes to comedic effect. But yeah, he's hot on the heels of Lupin and the gang always. He could be always around the corner, literally, and just they could always stumble into each other, and then he's like, Lupin, and Lupin is like, old man. It's yeah.
I knew you were behind this, Lupin. Wait, no, what? Hold on.
Yeah.
But Zenigata. I think all the characters are great, but Zenigata just in the past he seemed a bit more inept, but in this particular series, he's got his thinking cap on pretty often.
Yeah, he's pretty cool in this show. Not only is he on par. Well, on par, maybe not. Lupin always gets the upper hand in the end, but he is much more smart in the way he pursues Lupin, and he definitely has, more wisdom in regards to apprehending Lupin than all the other characters who try their hand in this particular season. Everyone who's trying to capture Lupin, Zenigata comes around and is like, well, you won't succeed that way, and he's right, because he knows his Lupin. He knows that some shit doesn't work on Lupin, and he can see through some of Lupin's disguises immediately and everything. So, yeah, he's much more capable in this show. I like that, and he's also very sympathetic. I really liked the episode where he was where he seems to succeed. In capturing Lupin, and of course it doesn't turn out like that. That's not a spoiler, people, because that's one of the trademarks of the show, that Lupin always has an ace up his sleeve. He's the master thief. He's the mastermind. He can always outwit other characters, as dire as the situation seems to be. For a moment there, it seems like Zenigata is successful in capturing Lupin, and this episode just highlights their relationship in a way that was very sympathetic and endearing, and I liked that episode quite a lot. One of my favorites in that season.
So, like you said, the show is based on the manga authored by Kazuhiko Kato, who usually goes by his pen name of Monkey Punch.
Mm-hmm.
Try explaining that away.
I won't.
Yeah, that Lupin the Third is pretty much the whole of his work. I mean, he's had other smaller endeavors. Shows was directed, looks like, by two people. There's Kazuhide Tomonaga and Yuichiro Yano, both of whom have plenty of experience under their belts. In pretty much every Lupin series, special, movie, what have you, it's been produced by a telecom animation film, and they've been around for forever and a day, so they have their animation chops, and the animation quality of the show definitely is a testament to that, I feel like.
No kidding, man. If you would try to describe this show in one word, I'd say it's style.
Mm.
You just have to look at the opening cinematic and you know what's up.
Oh, man.
It,
I remember the first time seeing that, I was like, it's the 1970s all over again.
but in an upgraded way. It's like the style is the same, but it looks so good. It's so much more well animated and so fluid. You got these bold, hard character outlines that give it like this I don't know, old schoolish look, but it still looks like very modern in certain ways. It's like this great mix of style ideas that works really well.
I think the best part of the intro is as well the how everything is synced to the music.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the Lupin the Third main theme has traditionally never had lyrics to speak of. Everything about the intro sequence is just like synced up to the music, and like hell, even something as simple as like a camera pan goes along with it, and it's just
It's very well directed.
It's great. It's wonderful.
And I think this is the coolest Lupin, has ever looked, or any of the other characters for that matter. I mean, I'm not super familiar with Lupin. I've seen some of the TV specials and Castle of Cagliostro. That's the movie that was directed by Hayao Miyazaki.
Well, Miyazaki has worked on Lupin, on and off over the years. Pretty much where he got his start originally, right?
Yeah. He worked on a TV show. Like I said, I've seen some of it, but the current interpretation is like really overall the coolest looking thing that comes out of it's not just the character designs too. It's just you got this really colorful and diverse location. I mean, Europe / or Italy for that matter. I think it's not just entirely set in Italy. We got one episode where they go to Japan, and I think there's one that's set in France, but I'm not sure. But yeah, it's a great setting for the stories the show is telling, and the way the show looks. It just benefits this colorful or European landscape and small and big town landscape, and the architecture and everything. So it just really works well with that style the show is using and establishing. It's really, really pretty to look at. Like every episode, I'd say the animation itself is a bit mixed in parts. It looks mostly great, drops off maybe a bit here and there. It's not really that noticeable, but some of the animation second everything are a bit more
I'd say there's nothing too egregious.
No, and others are just downright breathtakingly detailed. Got downright breathtakingly detailed choreography. I don't know. You remember maybe the fight of one of the characters is introduced in the season, Nyx, against the superior Percival. That's just when those two clashed. It's such an impactful scene, so well animated and so interesting, and the focus on where they put the focus on in that scene, and how every stroke is directed in the right way. It's fantastic. So if anything, if you want like eye candy, like I really need some eye candy right now, Lupin is the way to go. I mean, it's maybe these kind of old-ish character designs are not something for everyone. Lupin can look kind of goofy sometimes if he needs to, and so can the other characters. But I don't know, it just works in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like it was probably one of the best animated shows of the season, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, like you said, this particular series takes place in Italia, and all about Lupin and his gang kind of roaming up and down the country, causing all sorts of trouble. But we got new characters and whatnot peppered in there. Like we have this lady superstar Rebecca Rossellini.
Well, the show starts off with,
Yes, it starts off with Lupin and Rebecca. They're getting married. You know, much. I feel like it's much to the chagrin of the rest of the gang.
yeah, they don't really know what to make of it.
It's not too far-fetched to believe that, guess what, it's all a front. And
Yeah.
Lupin just wants some of Rebecca's fortune. She's very loaded.
Yeah, but also, as we learn later, later, also in the first episode, Rebecca is a force to be reckoned with because she's not really a version of Fujiko that would be doing a disservice to her character. But she's also like this very strong, energetic, female protagonist who is like kind of, into thieving and thrills and everything. And that's what attracts her to Lupin in the beginning as well. Even though the relationship in the beginning is, like I said, more of a front and a scam, for each other to achieve their respective goals. And they're like tricking each other in the beginning, just like Lupin always is tricking and being tricked by Fujiko. And it's kind of a cat and mouse game. And yeah, but that relationship like changes and deepens during the course of the show, without giving too much away, and it gets really interesting in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably one of the more meaningful relationships that they try to build up over the course of the show.
Yeah, what you have to know about Lupin is that these are characters that have been established for quite a while, and that's why you can't really, you can change them in a way. There have always been varied interpretations of Lupin, apparently. I've heard there's he's always been this goofball, thief, mastermind, lovable, kind of skilled rogue, or very skilled rogue, with a heart of gold, right? That's what you think of when you hear Lupin, maybe if you have heard of him before. Who's he got the hots for anything female crossing his way, and especially for Fujiko. But apparently there are also a bit darker, less likable interpretations of him as well, where he's more violent and everything. So, but aside from a few diversions here and there in the details, you always got these characters who have stayed the same over the years. They have not really, developed that much in a way. So that can be a problem depending on what you expect from the show, because most of the characters stay the same. They from where they start. Like Lupin, I would say at the end of the show is pretty much the same character as in the beginning, and pretty much the entirety of his crew is the same. So I think Rebecca was the one of the most interesting characters because she's going through some actual continuous development in that show and doesn't end up the same person that she was in the beginning, especially her relationship to Lupin and what she expects from her life and what she does with her life and why she's doing it. Some of that stuff changes, and that's why she's one of the most interesting characters. I don't know if you see it the same way.
They kind of build her up to be sort of a thrill seeker from the beginning to end anyways, so I'm not certain there's a huge change for her, but, I feel like the change is that she sees things differently, not that,
I feel like it's not about the thrills alone anymore at the end.
Yeah.
Her relationship to Lupin in the beginning is very shallow. It's kind of just to get the thrill, and I think at the end they really have this kind of bond that wasn't there in the beginning. And she also comes to terms with some things that happened in her past and that, were still a burden to her and made her, had an effect on the choices she makes in her life. And I can't get into too much detail on that because that's actually a spoiler of the main plot. So, yeah. But I felt like Rebecca was definitely a very interesting addition to the cast.
Yeah, I didn't dislike her.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any one character I disliked. Well, that's not entirely true. There's one I thought was kind of an asshole and one that didn't really add much of anything, but saying one of those would be a spoiler.
Okay.
But yeah, one of the other new characters this season, we mentioned him briefly, was Nyx, and he's like this special operative who's out to do all sorts of. I don't remember how what they kind of showed him doing first in the show. If he was actively after Lupin.
I think he was like interfering in the second episode when it came to when Lupin was up against a mafia guy or something, and he just collected information or an important document from the mafia guy he was after at the end, or the MI6 was after.
Yeah.
So Nyx is really weird. He has got like, this is also a thing of Lupin. They're always, well, not always, but a lot of times they're like these weird science fiction, supernatural elements sprinkled into that, and you can say that for a lot of anime. But Nyx is one of those things in this show. It gets, I mean, the series itself gets much more crazier towards the end in a lot of ways. But Nyx is like the first sign where it's like, okay, what? So he has like, first of all, he's got an amazing car. I don't know.
Hell yeah, he does.
Kind of looks like a new modern version of Kid or something with like this super GPS and I don't know if it can drive by itself, but it looks like a future car. It's very neat. And he also apparently has the ability, which he stole from Daredevil probably, to, I don't know, detect things by sound. He often like taps the ground with his shoe, and then from the sound waves moving out of from there, he can detect where people are.
It's like he's got some sort of sonar.
Kind of sonar, but it's never really explained. It's like is this like a ability he was born with? Was he like trained that? Does he have a little gizmo in his ear or something that helps him do that? So I don't know if I missed something, but I don't know. It was really weird.
There's a lot of things that seem really glossed over with in regard to Nyx.
Yeah, and other things in Lupin too. They're like just throwing it at you and you're like, okay, I guess I gotta accept this. It's Lupin. It's wacky.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it gets much crazier later on. There's a villain in this show that gets introduced, I don't know, halfway point?
Ish.
You know, his origin is super crazy, and what that leads to, like the final 2 episodes, is, it's pretty out there. It's interesting in a way, although I wish they would have made more of it. I think you brought that up first, where you told me that, that fell a bit flat.
Yeah, basically, not going to go into it, but there were a couple of supplementary episodes after the show ended, and I was kind of hoping that they would elaborate more on, the final few episodes, and they didn't, so...
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things, if you expect a straight plot from beginning to end in the show, that's not what Lupin is, at least not in this version. I think he never has been. I mean, the TV specials I've watched maybe gave me the wrong impression, because they always had like a start and beginning point, and it was pretty much a straight plot. You got like this mystery, and Lupin goes after it. It's mostly maybe a treasure, or it was a story about Goemon and his past, and it was always pretty straightforward. In this show, you got like a lot of one story episodes that are like, hey, Lupin today is gonna go after this treasure, and then he encounters these kind of characters and maybe changes their lives for the better or for the worse, or it's just wacky hijinks with his crew, or someone tries to capture Lupin and he needs to get out of it, or something, or something happening to Rebecca, and that has something to do with the main plot that can happen too. But it's a lot of different episodes. It's not like, hey, starting from this point on, we got straight plot points. That's not really happening. You always have like these weird on-off episodes always sprinkled in.
Yeah, it's like there's a very thin breadcrumb trail, I guess you could say, that kind of takes you from point A to point B, but it's never a direct route.
Yeah. Even before the last 2 episodes, there I think are like 2 one-off episodes again. If you expect a really straightforward plot from the show, don't. It's mostly lighthearted adventure with Lupin and his crew. And then you got like this plot with the MI6 and something that relates to Rebecca's past and everything that comes in here and there and then gets a resolution basically in the last 2 episodes of the show in a very weird and over-the-top way. But again, which they could have done more with, in my opinion. But yeah, so a lot of the standalone episodes were stronger than the plot-driven episodes in the show. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah.
So, for example, I really, like I said, I really liked the episode where Zenigata captures Lupin, or seems to be able to capture him for good. And that's not an episode that's related to the main plot, really. So, yeah, that worked really well. And then there's still an episode where Lupin steals like the car of an old singer called Nora. And
the car has no brakes.
I just love the tone of that episode because it was like very sentimental and melancholic, and yeah, it gave me feelings.
Yeah.
Made me happy, made me sad, and I don't know. I didn't expect that from the Lupin show, and yeah, I like that quite a lot. So they're very different, varied episodes and themes in the show that you maybe don't see coming, but most of it is like wacky hijinks with Lupin and the gang. And if you go in hoping for just a fun ride, fun misadventure stories, then you're in the right place, because that's what you're gonna get mostly.
Well, I like what they do is, like we've been saying, there's no like super thick connected thread between, but you get all sorts of like individual character stories in there as well, which I really like. Where sometimes it focuses on Lupin, sometimes it's about Jigen, and so on and so forth. And I think that's cool.
You even get an episode where poor Gorman has to look after a lesbian dog. Make of that what we. And I don't mean that dog is out for female. That female dog is out for other female dogs. No, that dog is gay for human girls.
Yeah.
So whatever. That's Lupin for you. Crazy. Anyway, yeah, that's super fun. There are a lot of really, really fun episodes. A few, don't quite hit the mark, maybe, but most of them do, in my opinion. Just in terms of humor and action and twists and turns and how will Lupin get out of this out of this one? So yeah, that's a fun part of that show. And if that's what you came for, you're gonna get that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want just a fun show, and that's what it is. It's fun. It's very. It calls on a lot of like the nostalgia of like shows of its original time, and it's great. I would recommend it I don't think you absolutely need prior knowledge of Lupin going in, but if you at least have a quick primer of who the 5 main characters are, then you're set.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know what else to recommend besides this show. Like I said, this is probably the best interpretation of Lupin I've seen. I mean, I don't remember much of Castle of Cagliostro because that's been ages that I'd seen it, and I saw like a weird bastardized version of it. So I need to go back and see that. And the TV specials, some of them were like categorized in an Anime News Network article that was basically summarizing all of the Lupin stuff you need to see. Those were categorized as one of a few of the worst Lupin things in existence. So I guess
really,
yeah. I guess I haven't seen like the inferior stuff. So no wonder this series was like seemed so superior to me. So maybe that's a reason.
All right, I feel like it warrants pointing out that Yuji Ono's music in the show is fucking beautiful. It's so good.
Yeah, you got mostly like this. What is it, like jazz?
Yeah, a lot of jazz stuff, but there's a little bit of slight mixing of genres in there to suit the mood. But jazz is definitely one of the heavy underlying musical themes.
Yeah, big band and a bit here and there, right?
Because I mean, from that first moment where you hear the 2015 version of the main theme. You just know.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, and I mean, the cast is also great. I actually don't know which of the voice actors take up their respective roles, like for the upteenth time, like who of them have been around since the beginning. I have a feeling Jigen's voice actor is, because he sounds very old. I don't want
Yeah.
I don't want to harp on the guy, but he sticks out to me in, I gotta say, negative way, as harsh as that maybe sounds. But he sometimes, when stuff gets really, I don't know, really hot and really emotional and hectic and stuff, he sounds too relaxed, too quiet. I mean, Jigen is kind of a relaxed guy, but even he freaks out sometimes. And when he does, I feel like the voice actor doesn't quite get there, like to the point
Well,
where he needs to anymore.
I think Kiyoshi Kobayashi is like one of the originals. I mean,
Yeah,
he was
makes sense.
he was born in 1933, so there you go.
Oh yeah, holy shit.
But but looking at his voice credits now, because I tried doing some research on this, and a lot of it is really muddled and not like super well documented in one spot. But I'm fairly certain. Obviously, looking at the 1971 series, he's credited in that as Daisuke Jigen. So I'm pretty certain that he is the original Daisuke Jigen.
Yeah.
But a lot of the other characters, I believe, I know Miyuki Sawashiro has voiced Fujiko for at least a while. I know she played the role in The Lady Named Fujiko Mine, but so she is obviously not the original for that. But I feel like the voice cast, it's pretty good. It's pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get what you're saying about Jigen's voice actor, but
To be fair, he is the only one that stuck out to me. Like the rest is perfect, really entertaining, and everyone brings their A game, at least to an extent they can. So, yeah, if you feel like watching a cool misadventure series with a fun cast and a fantastic look, really, down on fantastic, go watch it. If you like your shows heavy on the plot, for most of its runtime, maybe stay clear.
Yeah, I mean, it's goofy fun. It's eye candy,
Yeah.
and the music is great too. It's a good show that anyone can watch, and it's something that longtime fans can appreciate.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, it's not devoid of any meaningful things to say or something, like just because the plot is not straightforward through all of its runtime. I mean, we get some really neat insight here and there into what makes our main characters tick, and those episodes stuck out to me too, and I really like them. But overall, the standalone episodes, be it being hijinks the main focus or something else, were more interesting to me than the underlying plot, and I think John felt the same.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but if you can live with that, and yeah, if you feel like, hey, I feel like watching a cool adventure show, then maybe should. If you like Lupin and haven't watched the show yet, what the fuck are you doing? And I will post a link to the Anime News Network article that recommends the other, or gives you a rundown on what else to watch in the giant catalog of Lupin stuff, because apparently I have no clue what's the good stuff and what sucks. But yeah, I might go back and watch some of those other things, Lupin things as well, because there's lots of stuff I have not seen that apparently is really good. So yeah,
I'd like to go back and watch Daisuke Jigen's Gravestone, and maybe at some point rewatch Castle of Cagliostro, because again, it's been a hot minute.
Yeah, Mystery of Mamo seems to be another favorite, so maybe I'll check that out too. So yeah, lots of stuff. There's lots of Lupin stuff out there. If you don't know where to start, might as well start with this series, because it's really great, and you don't, aside from the 5 main characters, who have a history together, you can get obviously more out of this series if you already know those characters. But even if you don't, you get introduced to them enough in the course of the series to relate to them. and yeah, you probably will have fun with them too, because we did.
Yeah, definitely.
And that is a wrap on the 8th episode of Anime Brain Freeze. All the music in our show is from the Double Dragon Neon soundtrack by the amazing Jake Kaufman. Please go to vrt.badcamp.com and check out his awesome work. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and animebrainfreeze.com. Leave us a comment anywhere you like, or send us an email to animebrainfreeze@gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you had a good time, and please join us again on our next show. Adios.
Arrivederci.